Looking ahead very, very quickly, of course, we're back in action on Thursday. We've got Samoa, Chile, then Wales and Portugal. Of course, Ireland and Tonga on Saturday evening, big game. Australia, Fiji, and Japan and England. Ireland, Tonga, Vasily, who do you reckon? Do you reckon Ireland will take it? And what about the England-Japan game?
Well, Ireland must take it because they have big aspirations and they big hopes for this World Cup. So they must put away that game. They must win and must win confidently. I think that's what they have to do now, just to keep going in the right direction coming up to the playoffs. It'd be exciting to watch because Malakai Fekitoa, ex All Black, will be playing for Tongans. It's an exciting moment for those type of players like him to go back into international rugby and respect their heritage of their home nation. So it'll be interesting to see Tonga, because I haven't seen Tonga perform very well in the past. So I'm actually working on commentary for that game, Ireland against Tonga. We're doing obviously streaming World Cup, the Rugby Union of Russia streaming World Cup at the website. So I'll be working for that on that match. Who else? It'll be interesting to see Portugal play as well, just before Ireland. Portugal will be playing in their match. I think I'll be working on that as well. And Portugal have come a long way in the last 5 or 6 years. They've grown such a large amount of young, exciting players over the last 5 or 6 years. They've completely changed their underage program, their developing players program, and I think they're getting the results and the dividends now. It'll be interesting to see them back at the World Cup stage and see how they perform.
Okay, Cian, Ireland, Tonga. Okay, Vasily's already said Ireland need to win it. It's going to be tough for them, but they need to win it. England and Japan. I mean, that's a tough one as well, because the Japanese have shown that they have the quality. They're not afraid of anybody, and they could scare the life out of England as well.
They could do, and England won't take it lightly. I'm sure England will be well aware of what Japan have done in the previous 2 tournaments. They beat Ireland, they beat Scotland, and they beat South Africa 8 years ago. So they are capable of doing it. Yes, their performances in the 4 years since the 2019 World Cup haven't been at the same level or anywhere near the levels that they would have expected of themselves. But I'm sure Tony Brown, Jamie Joseph, both of their coaches, will have them well primed to take England on. England, even off the back of that Argentinian victory, yes, they're picking up a little bit of momentum, but they're still there. And I'm sure Japan might smell a small little bit of blood if they can get things some way correct and just pull off one of those big one-off performances. You never know what could happen. But most likely England will probably find a way to win it. But I do feel Japan have a big performance in them, even though, as I said, they haven't performed too well over the previous 4 years.
Just as Vasily brought up about Portugal, of course, they've been coming on and on and on. Of course, Spain and Portugal both developing all sports. I mean, when you look at the level of involvement in soccer, of course, and in all their sports, from athletics to basketball, they're phenomenal. Just as a memory from before, this kind of like puts a bit of a bite or a bit of a hit into what Vasily just told us about Portugal and their development.
3 tempos dados pelo Francisco Mata. Consegue ganhar bem. Janus Skin. Vamos ver como eles jogam isto. Mas depois é muito bem placado ali.
E falta
jogador, e depois é uma falta de grande jogador russo, fica agarrado ao oval. E foi a placagem excelente de Francisco Appleton, pareceu.
Vamos ver.
Vamos ver aqui a repetição.
Cumprimentos entre os jogadores portugueses.
Janus Skin. Depois apareceu, mas o primeiro homem a surgir.
Now that looked like it hurt a little bit, Francisco Appleton laying you out, but it took 2 of them to stop you. But again, it just shows where they're going from.
That's why I enjoyed running a switch with Alexander Yanushkin and not running a short ball. Portugal were always a tough opponent. If you go back about 5 or 6 years ago, as I mentioned previously, Portugal actually got relegated from European Championships from A League to B level kind of thing, because they came last in the European Championship that Russia and Georgia and Romania play every year, in Spain. But the Portugal used that time to regrow, to regroup, to focus on their developing players, on the underage players, under 18s, under 19s, and they pretty much getting the dividends now, because those guys won, or they were very close to winning the underage Europeans. They performed well, I think, at their underage World Cup level, and they've already beaten some some youngsters from Tier 1 nations as well. And those guys have grown. They've grown to the adult game, and they've already, made everyone respect Portugal as the contender and the deserved participant of the World Cup. So yeah, it was they're very passionate about rugby. You saw that, the Spaniards and the Portuguese, when you're playing away, very passionate. Love their beer, but very passionate.
That's good.
Superboc, I think it's called. The Portuguese beer.
Superboc. Again, just as you said, you see where France had brought through their youngsters, and now it's blossoming. So again, you have to build from the bottom.